Greetings everyone, and I hope you're all happy and healthy out there, and welcome back to the channel for another 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. And today we're going to be taking an up-close look at Hot Toys' take on David Harbour, aka Anung Unrama, aka Hellboy, as he appears in the 2019 Neil Marshall directed reboot of the Hellboy movie franchise. And with the trailer of the new movie dropping just yesterday, Hellboy The Crooked Man, I thought now would be a good time to take a look at the most recent iteration of Big Red in 1/6 scale. The review will take the usual format. We'll have a quick look at the box, then it'll be down onto the table to look at all the accessories, then it will be out with the demon himself for a close-up look, and then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end. But before we get into it, a quick shout out to everyone who has liked, commented and subscribed to the channel. Your support is hellishly appreciated. And to those of you watching the channel but not subscribing, come on, get off the Ferris wheel of indecision. Come and join us in the 6 scale house of fun. You'll be helping us to keep doing what we're doing here at Go Figure, but more importantly, your self-worth will increase exponentially in the knowledge that you've helped an old man relive his childhood. So, background. Suffice it to say, I am a massive Hellboy fan and have been for a long time, ever since his first appearance in the Dark Horse comics back in 1993. And also a fan of the movies. Hellboy was created by Mike Mignola and is the son of a witch and a demon, and was destined to bring about the apocalypse on Earth. Or at least he was supposed to before he was incarnated on Earth and brought up by Professor Broom and employed by the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense to do battle with the powers of darkness. So there've been 3 Hellboy movies to date, soon to be 4. And if you do check out that new Hellboy movie trailer, Hellboy Crooked Man, please pop a comment in the comment section below. I'd be interested to hear what your take is on that. If you're a Hellboy fan, if you're planning on seeing the film, what your take on the trailer is. Personally, I've watched the trailer, and I'm sort of 50-50 on this one. I'm not 100% certain that that's going to work. But out of the other 3 films that we've had to date, the first 2 were directed by Guillermo del Toro, and regulars to my channel will know I'm a huge fan of del Toro, and starred Ron Perlman. The third film, which was intended as a reboot, which this figure comes from, well, what can I say? I'm going to hold my hands up here. The third film is not my favourite. In fact, it's shonky. Very, very shonky in my opinion. So why do you have a figure from a movie you don't like, Mr. Go Figure? I hear you collectively cry. Well, a couple of reasons for that. Number one, I love the character, and I always wanted a 1/6 scale version of him in my collection. Number two, the Sideshow and Hot Toy versions, and there's been a few other company versions from the first 2 movies as well, are notoriously hard to find and notoriously expensive on the aftermarket. And notoriously haven't stood the test of time very well either. But that's enough of my Hellboy ramblings. Let's get onto the box itself. Let's stop this box from spinning and have a close-up look at it. Presentation already is very, very good, I think, from Hot Toys on this one. This figure was released about 2 to 3 years ago. It's not new to the collection. It's been out, it's been displayed, so it's not entirely new to the channel, but new to me. But yeah, we shall soldier on. As I say, it's a hefty box as well, but it's a mighty figure, as you'll see when we bring it out. The box itself is that sort of cut-off shoebox design that Hot Toys are known for, or were known for, back in the day. As I say, it's 2 to 3 years old, this figure. On the front, you've got an artist rendition of David Harbour himself as Hellboy. He's clutching Excalibur. The horns are fully on. The crown of fire itself is there. It's all done in this wonderful sort of reds and oranges, deep reds and blacks. The Hellboy name on the front there, as in this high gloss lettering, which is really nice. It says Hellboy underneath as well. You've got movie masterpieces, bottom left-hand corner, Hot Toys bottom right. Let's flip this thing around and have a look at the sides. As I mentioned before, it's got that sort of angled shoebox design to it. It says Hellboy on the side here. Just some more sort of flame and spark effects. Pretty much the same story on the other side, I believe. Yep. Let's have a look at the top and bottom. On the bottom it says Hellboy. You've got HB in that high gloss lettering again. And on the top, let's just flip this thing round. on the top, once again, Hellboy in that really nice high gloss lettering. Again, I do like that lettering. There's something about that lettering. I love the, I don't know whether it's the font or the way, or the colours, it just appeals to me. So, what have you got on the back? Well, it's the usual story. You've got the credits, well, not the credits actually, it's just the warnings on the back here, the barcodes and so on. Yeah, warnings are in this section here if you wanted to pause it and take a look at it. Don't piss this figure off, or you might find the right hand of God somewhere it shouldn't be. We'll open this box just for a quick look inside. Although there's no figure in it, as I mentioned, we'll just take the top off this box because it's a little touch, but I think it's really well done from Hot Toys. Is this inlay card? Obviously, it's clamshell design inside, no figure as we mentioned, but you've got this this cut inlay on the front there, which is really nice. Super high gloss, a relief shot of David Harbour himself. I don't know whether that's the figure or the man himself. Hard to tell. Blood spatter, what looks like blood spatter or fire all over the place. And the credits for the team that actually produced the figure. So yeah, there you have it. That's the box. Very nicely presented. I do like this box. I think it leaves an impression. I think it's bold and it's colourful and it just looks really, really nice. So yeah, that's enough about the box. So let's do what we always do. Let's dive down onto the table and have a look at all the accessories that come with your Hellboy figure. Okay, so here we are down on the table with all the accessories that come with your Hot Toys Hellboy figure. And I can barely fit my hands on the table. In fact, I'm going to move them back here and just let you take all this in. Let that sink in a little bit. Yeah, that is quite impressive. I have seen DX figures from Hot Toys with less accessories than this. I'm super impressed. Even though I've had this figure 2 or 3 years, it still never ceases to amaze me, the sheer quantity of stuff that they packed in here. But yeah, let's crack on or we'll be here all night. We'll start with the hands as we always do. There are 3 right hand of Doom hands and there are, and I'm trying to remember, I think there's one still on the figure. There's that many hands here. Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 normal hands, 3 right hand of Dooms. It's confusing this. There is so much going on here. Yeah, I'll compose myself. Take a deep breath. Let's crack on. Yeah, so let's take a look at the paintwork and the sculpting on some of these hands. Paintwork is really, really nice. The sculpting's what we've come to expect from Hot Toys. It's the usual high standard. You've got knuckles on there. You can see the bone work and the vein work. The paint applications here are really what make it stand out. You've got nails on the end of the hands there. I'll bring another one in so you can see that. Yeah, the nails are sculpted really well. Creases in the knuckles, creases in the palms. The usual Hot Toys story. Very high standard. I'll try and get these closer into shot. It's the colour really, it's the paint applications that really pop on this deep red, which is continued throughout and obviously is completely screen accurate to the colour of Hellboy himself. So yeah, you're getting one fisted hand. I can't remember which hand is still on the figure, but we'll see that when we bring it out. You've got gripping hands. The sturdiness of the plastic here, I think we're looking at a sort of a medium to hard on these. Although some are slightly softer, so there's some variance in the hand tensile strength, shall we say. But yeah, you've got an open palm hand, you've got a gripping hand. This one's still got a peg in it, obviously for one of the weapons. You've got this semi-gloved hand, which is really, really nice. Now on here you've got the same level of sculpting, painting detail and paint details that you've got on the other hands, but these are this one's got a sort of well, I say a glove, it's more of a binding around the hand itself, which looks like it's meant to be perhaps leather of some description, but the paint applications are really nice on there. And there's this chain as well that's actually sculpted into the plastic with what looks like perhaps a crucifix there at one end. Maybe yeah, and that stretches round the glove itself or the bindings themselves. So yeah, really nicely painted, really, really well done. Nice variety. And while we're on the hands, actually, let's take a look at the right hand of Doom itself. Now, this is what can I say here? I mean, I think the paint applications and the sculpt speak for themselves. Fans of the film will know that this is absolutely spot on and screen accurate. It's actually comes on a peg joint here, so you can swap the hands out. We'll try and do this. There we go. And it's a very, very big ball joint there, which is nice to see. So you've got a lot of range for movement, then a lot of sturdiness because this is a heavy piece. So yeah, the actual sculpt itself really, really nice. As you can see, there are dinks, there are scratches, there are pitted. It's pitted and worn and chipped, and it's got this sort of brown paint wash on the top to give it that stone effect. There's paint washes in the crevices there to pick out the details. Just really, really nicely done. This hand isn't articulated. This is just a straight fist hand, but yeah, and that level of sculpt is continued onto the fingers, on the back of the hand there, and just really, really nicely done. And it attaches to the actual arm itself, the right arm, by this joint here at the elbow. There's a corresponding joint at the elbow on the figure, and it simply slots in. So you can keep this in place and just swap out the hand or take out the entire arm itself. So yeah, this comes with a couple of swap out hands, this piece. You get this one. Once again, same level of sculpt, same level of detailing and paint application. Only difference here is this one actually is articulated. Now I believe they've done this, and this is a soft plastic, and all the hands are a relatively soft plastic to so that they can grip, but also in the case of this one, because I believe it's got wires in the fingers here, you can actually bend these fingers over so you can grip particular accessories or pose it any way you like. And yeah, there's a full gripping action there with what I believe to be wires underneath. So yeah, nice touch there from Hot Toys. Very well made. Good idea to go with the soft plastic. This hand, once again, is a gripping hand. This is for Excalibur. Now, this one, I believe, has, and I'm trying to get this into shot, might not be the easiest thing in the world, to be honest with you. These are slightly articulated, but, well, I say slightly articulated, it's a soft plastic. But one of these hands, and I may very well have left that particular hand on the figure itself, actually has a peg in the hand. It's a peg hole, rather, in the palm of the hand itself, or maybe in the fingers. And I've just broken that hand or that finger off. It will reattach. That's me being clumsy on camera. But yeah, that's the hands. That's the right hand of Doom. So 3 of those. Let's get these out of the way to make some space. There is so much to go at here. Talking of hands, 1 spare wrist peg. Only 1 spare wrist peg with this because there's only 1 left hand. So really, and you've already given 1 to start with. So yeah, more than enough wrist pegs to go at, and it's unopened, which tells you everything you need to know. Cracking on. Let's create some space. We'll get this out of the way. Also, you get with the figure itself is you get this sort of diorama backdrop. Now, great for photography, great for putting into your detail if you have details, or onto your open shelf if you use open shelves. It's simply a really nice thick card that folds here, and then you can create that diorama backdrop. What you've got is a sort of flames, what looks like lava. At the top there, you've got the Hellboy logo. Yeah, and just really, really nicely done. It's a very, very sturdy card. It comes with 2 corners. I'm not going to construct this on camera simply because it's so big. But you simply slot these 2 sections into, actually I think it's the other way around. Let's get this the right way around. Simply slot tab A into slot C, so to speak. And yeah, and it'll support the diorama and hold it up. And as I say, great for photography, nice for the display. Not something I would use, but it's a great addition from Hot Toys. So yeah, we'll put that to one side. We'll get this out of the way as well. Instructions, unopened, typical mail. I charged ahead and didn't bother opening the instructions, but yeah, everything you need to know in there about attaching the accessories, removing the hands, the horns, all that kind of good stuff is in there in the accessories. So yeah, set of instructions if you need them. Let's take a quick look at the base so we can make some space. It's the usual Hot Toys story, this sort of semi-hexagonal base. Start on the bottom, it's all one piece of plastic. No feet on this one, which is a shame. It would have been nice to see, because this figure does have some heft, as you can imagine. But yeah, no feet on the bottom there, so I would say exercise caution. We don't want it falling off a shelf or over in your display cabinet. Very, very simple. It's what we've come to expect from Hot Toys. You've got this sort of... and it's got a nice feel to it, nice tactile feel to it. This sticker on the top, it feels like a vinyl sticker, and it's just this sort of flame stroke lava type effect. Very effective, very simple. On the front here, you've got a nameplate. It says Hellboy on it. That's still got the plastic on it. I am a little bit OCD with these things. If it's got a plastic cover on it, I'd have a tendency not to take it off to protect it, because these nameplates can be quite high gloss and can scratch very easily, so I have a tendency to leave them on. That's just me. But yeah, very, very nice base. Comes with a standard issue crotch grabber. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that there are 4 holes there. A little bit odd, that. So you can actually place this crotch grabber either forward or slightly further back. Not quite sure why that is, why they've included 4 there. Maybe it's because it's such a big figure that certain poses require more space. I don't know, but it's really entirely up to you where you put it. But yeah, simply a case of slotting the crotch grabber in there, and that completes your stand. So we'll put that to one side. What else have we got here? Yeah, almost missed one thing actually, which is off camera. I'll bring that in now and we'll take a quick look at it. Is the overcoat. 2 items of clothing accessories, so to speak, and this is the coat itself. Now, I have to say, I really do like this coat straight from the get-go. The colour looks absolutely on point to me. I like the materials. The stitching is absolutely spot on. As I say, the screen accuracy is completely there. And it's essentially the coat that he wears in the movie. One sleeve is shorter than the other, obviously because you've got the right hand of Doom on this side, which means the sleeve needs to be further up. But yeah, stitch work, really, really good. I'm not sure if the camera's picking this up. I'll just try and get it closer into shot here. Yeah, and you know me and my 6-scale stitch work. I like to see it on point because, as I always mentioned, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, if the stitch work's not on point, it can throw the figure out no matter how good it is. But yeah, really, really well done there. You have functioning pockets, which is always good to see. On the front here, you've got these 6-scale buttons, but I wouldn't worry too much about that because this isn't the kind of coat that you fasten up. He very rarely, if at all, had the coat fastened up in the movie. It's meant to be worn open. But yeah, material's good. There is weathering on here. I mean, the camera's catching that in this light. There's sort of a yellowing, a dirtying effect on the shoulders and down the arms, and that's continued down the front. And it's particularly at the bottom of the coat, which is great to see. You might catch that there. There's some browns on the bottom there. And also as well is, and a lovely touch here from Hot Toys, is this whole thing is wired around the bottom. From this section here and around here is completely wired. So you can get some dynamic posing out of this coat as well. So yeah, absolutely fantastic touches. You've got this detailing on the back, which is really nice. The lining itself feels like a man-made fibre, and I don't know whether the camera's catching the colour of this in this light, but it comes off as a deep brown. The collar itself feels like a brushed cotton. I think it was meant to be leather in the film itself, but it looks more like a brushed cotton here. But yeah, once again, stitch work is really good, and the collar itself is actually wired as well, which is fantastic to see. In fact, that wiring runs all the way down the collar and into this section of the coat as well. So yeah, they've really gone to town on this. I think the quality here of this coat, the screen accuracy, the colours, the wiring, I think it's some of the best I've seen from Hot Toys, I have to say. On the arm of the jacket as well, you've got the Bureau symbol, which looks to me like it looks like that's been stamped on, perhaps. I'm not 100% certain, but it's good to see it's not a sticker, so that's not going to come off unless you're particularly rough with the figure. Lace-up section for the right hand of Doom there, which is once again screen accurate. Yeah, Really good, just a fantastic coat. Really well done there from Hot Toys. Also comes with this vest. Now, I'm not awfully keen on this vest, to be honest with you. Not a look I tend to go for in my display. I prefer either just the coat and bare-chested or no coat at all. So this one tends to stay in the accessories box. But yeah, screen accuracy is there. It's got the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense symbol on the front, which feels like it's sort of like an iron-on transfer, perhaps. Yeah, it's this cotton material, a really nice cotton material, and it's been weathered really well. As you can probably see, there's some staining on there. There's some marks and dirtying of the actual collar area and the body of the vest itself. And another great touch here as well is that Hot Toys have actually put snaps in the side of the vest. So rather than having to struggle trying to get this thing over his head, you simply pop the 2 snaps on the side, and you can pop it straight on him without any of the normal issues that you find with putting this kind of garment onto a 1/6 scale figure, especially a big one. So yeah, that's the vest. We're getting there. Right. Let's take a look at the weapons. Yeah. Now, I can never remember which one of these two is the Samaritan. I am assuming this one is the Samaritan. So yeah, we'll call it the Samaritan for argument's sake. Once again, all one piece of sculpted plastic, as we've come to expect from Hot Toys weapons. Very nicely done. There's some paint applications on the top here to give it that metallic look. The handle is really nicely painted. You've got some blacks in there, some browns to give it that wood effect. No cocking action here, but what you do have is a revolving chamber. And if I can get this into shot, I'm not sure whether the camera will pick this up in this light, to be honest with you, but they're actually painted, sculpted in bullets in that chamber. I'm going to try and get this in to shot. If you can't see that, take my word for it. Yeah, they've actually painted in bullets, but yeah, very nicely done. There's a second gun as well. Same story of sculpt and paint application here, screen accurate, all one piece of sculpted plastic. I believe this is sort of like a hand shotgun here. It's got this grey paint application to give it that metallic effect. There is some silver dry brushing on here to give it that weathered look, and the handle is really nicely textured. Once again, no cocking action here, no moving parts on this one, but yeah, screen accurate, well sculpted, well painted. So that's the 2 weapons. On the weapons front, let's take a look at Excalibur. Now, people who've seen the film will know how Excalibur features in the film. They've given us 2 iterations of it here, Hot Toys. Very nicely done, all one piece of sculpted plastic. Some nice metallic silver paintwork on the blade there to give it that metal type finish. The sculpt looks screen accurate to me. The hilt's really nicely done. You've got some sort of the decorations on there on the hilt and on the pommel, and the paint applications there are really nice, giving it that sort of copper stroke brass look. And if I can get this into shot here, you might be able to see that even down to the nicks and dinks in the edges of the blade have been sculpted in by Hot Toys as well. So that's the first iteration of Excalibur. The second iteration, now, regulars to the channel and people who know Hot Toys will know what I'm talking about here with this particular type of resin stroke, acrylic, whatever it might be, to simulate flame effects. So what you've got here is the burning version of Excalibur. So it literally is just this I'm going to call it resin for argument's sake, stuck onto a pommel. And this is where that hole in the hand that we talked about earlier comes into play. So when he's gripping this, because this is particularly heavy because of the material it's made out of, there's actually a hole in the palm of the hand where you can slot that in to give it that extra support so he can actually hold this. But yeah, very nicely done. People who've seen flame effects in Hot Toys will know the kind of thing we're looking at here. You've got oranges and yellows in there, the darker at the ends of the flames that taper down into towards where the blade would be. The whole thing looks very effective, very nicely done, very well sculpted, very eye-catching. So that's your 2 versions of Excalibur. Well, we'll look at all the flame effects while we're here. Also, as well, you get these 4 pieces, which are flame effects for your base, or for simply putting around the figure if you're displaying it. Made out of the same stuff that the blade is made out of, same quality of sculpt, same material, and same paint applications. And you can I'll bring the stand back in, and so we can do this on camera. You can put them around the base if you want to, or alternatively, as I say, if you're having it freestanding, then you can have it really wherever you want, and yeah, muck around with them to your heart's content till you get the effect that you want. So, yep, that's the fire effects, the flame effects. So we'll put those to one side. Continuing the flame effects, you get this piece. Now, this is designed to go over the non-burning Excalibur, shall we say. Now, this can be a little bit fiddly. Once again, people who know Hot Toys will know this kind of effect from numerous figures, probably most notably Thor figures and stuff like that, designed to sort of simulate fire stroke electricity. And this is meant to, now, I don't know, try and do this on camera. I don't tend to use this in the display simply because it's quite delicate. But you know, there is a sweet spot there where you can actually slot this sword through, or fix it to the sword. And I'm fiddling around here trying to find it, but I know I'm not going to on camera. But yeah, you can actually find that sweet spot, and then you can have him holding this. This version of Excalibur giving off this effect. As I say, not something I tend to use in the display, simply because they scare me. They're so brittle, and I'm worried about snapping them. But it's there if you want it. So yeah, that's the other effect for the non-burning Excalibur. You also get his crown of fire and the crown of flames. Now, once again, this is really, really nicely done. Same material as before, same material as the effects for the base and for Excalibur. Nicely sculpted, nicely painted, and we brought the head sculpt off. We don't normally look at the head sculpt in the accessories section, but there's a reason for this, because it's got a party piece, which we will show you when we take a look at the head sculpt, and that's what this little piece is for as well. Finally, oh no, not finally, it's just the gift that keeps giving, this figure. You also get horns, you get swap out horns. Now, those who've seen the film will know that we see him in the film fully horned and unhorned, if those are expressions that I won't get a strike for. And yeah, we'll just take a look at one. They're really, really nicely sculpted, really, really nicely painted. Let's just try and get this light in a little bit closer so we can see the detail here. It's the same, that same deep red that we've seen on the hands, and we'll see on the head sculpt. And it's got some dry brushing in there to pick out the sort of the ridges in the horns themselves, and then there's these circles towards the end. The camera's catching that. Yeah, and just really nicely done. And they've got these pegs on the end here for attaching them to the head. Which we'll put those to one side because we'll take a look at the head sculpt separately. Also comes with 2 wristbands. These are all one piece of sculpted plastic. These are for the left hand and are really, really good for covering up that ball joint that you see. Yeah, they're meant to be beads. Well, I think this one on the right hand side is meant to be beads, but you've got a silver painted on crucifix there. It's a soft pliable plastic. With some nice dark paint in the crevices there. This one's slightly different. Once again, it's got a crucifix on it, but it's a little less beady, shall we say. It looks more like a leather-bound bracelet. So, yeah, you get those 2. And finally, and I can't believe just the quantity here. I know I keep banging on about it, but it is truly phenomenal. You get Hellboy's communicator, which is there just to simply clip onto the belt that we'll take a look at on the figure when we bring it out. Yeah, all one piece of sculpted plastic. Looks screen accurate to me. Paint applications are nice, and you've got this red symbol. I'll try and get that into shot. Yeah, you've got the red symbol of the bureau as well printed on there too. So yeah, that's the communicator. So let's take a quick look at this head sculpt. We'll have a look at how it works on the body, but we need to look at it, I think, here in the accessories section, simply so we can see how these bits and pieces work. Let's get this head sculpt into camera here. And I've got to say, I think this is a phenomenal head sculpt. I really do. I think they've captured Mr. Harbour perfectly. I think they've captured Hellboy perfectly. I think the screen accuracy is completely on point. But let's take a look at the details. We'll start with this hair. They've gone with a soft plastic sculpted hair, which is great to see, particularly down in the lengthy parts at the back and at the sides here. So there's no danger of you actually damaging the clothing if you or the actual the body itself, which we'll take a look at. But yeah, the sculpting is absolutely on point there. The paint applications are great. The individual hair strands have been caught really well. There is ever such a slight seam, if I can get this into shot, across the top there, but really it's negligible, especially in hair this colour. The beard is wonderfully sculpted. There are scars and there are marks on his face here. The eyes, the area around the eyes has been painted a slightly deeper red to give it that sunken look. The eye colour is spot on and the eyes are nice and glassy. Just really overall fantastic head sculpt, really fantastic. And it's fair to say as well at this point, for me anyway, this head sculpt is very, very good. We've already got there on that one, but as I mentioned at the top there, the first two Hellboy figures, I am a massive films rather, I am a massive fan of. This film, not so much, but I actually think David Harbour looks more. It looks more like the Hellboy that Mike Mignola drew in the comic books than Ron Perlman. I know it's controversial, and don't shoot the messenger. And some people will probably disagree with me. It's only an opinion, but I think the makeup they did for David Harbour, then the makeup on top of it, it looks more comic book accurate to me. But as I say, that's just my opinion. So, party pieces, two of this particular head sculpt. Now, what's the stumps of the horns themselves come off, and I'm going to have to get my fingernail in there to do this. They simply pop off. They're pegged on with the corresponding shape there, and I shall bring in one of the horns. Now, herein lies probably my only complaint so far with this figure, and that is that I think it's this one is not the most secure in the world. It has a tendency to fall off, but you simply find the corresponding shape, yeah, and that's the right one. So that's the left-hand side horn, and you simply attach the horn itself. You're going to need some space in your display because it adds a lot of extra centimeters to the height of the figure. We'll do the other one as well while we're here. Yeah, and hopefully that other horn won't fall out. And you find the corresponding shape again, and if you just get the angle right, he said confidently, it's about there, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. So you can have the fully horned look as well. I do like this. I think this really does add an extra depth and an extra dimension to the character. Completely changes it for me. I love both looks. Stumps and fully horned, but I think just to have that option there, really well done from Hot Toys, and a very simple solution on how to do it. We're going to take these off because we're going to shine with the crown. So we'll put we'll attempt to do this on camera, and this is where things might go horribly wrong, but bear with me while we attempt to get these the stump sections back in. And yeah, we'll pop those back in. Now, if we bring this round to the back, there's a man bun, which is screen accurate, the little ponytail thing at the back there, and that actually comes out. You pop that out, and what you do is take the... Oh, and I nearly dropped that. Now, this little piece of plastic's got the corresponding man bun on there as well. So what you do is you simply slot that in there. And now, this is going to be the hard part. This is where it could all go horribly wrong, because having done this in the past, I know how hard it is to find there is a very small hole. I'm going to put the head sculpt down for a second and try and find this on camera. Now, it took me forever initially when I got this figure to there it is. We found it. I don't know if the camera's catching that. Right there, there's a little hole. So you simply pop that end through there, he said with confidence, and it can be a bit fiddly, this. Sometimes it doesn't want to play, but you might need to put a bit of pressure on there. But what you get once you finally find that hole, and the fact that it's clear plastic is great because it's virtually invisible when you're looking at it from a distance, is you get the floating crown of flames as well. So yeah, that's the head sculpt and all the other accessories that come with your Hellboy figure. And my word, there is a hell of a lot of it, and I am still suitably impressed 2 years down the line. So without further ado, let's bring out Big Red himself. Let's get him on the stand, get him on the turntable, and take a close-up look. Okay, so here he is, straight onto the stand, straight onto the turntable, no accessories, no clothing, nothing added. And obviously can't give first impressions on this one because it's not a new figure to me. However, whenever I take this figure out of the display case and get it in front of me and get up close and personal with it, I cannot help but be absolutely blown away and completely impressed with this figure. I apologize. Well, I am not going to apologize for the length of this review, simply because of all the stuff that Hot Toys have included in the accessories and the figure itself. To do it justice, it takes slightly longer. So yeah, let's take a look at this guy. Imposing, yes. Screen accurate, yes. Paint applications on point. We already know about that head sculpt. Really a truly phenomenal figure, and that's before we even get him off this stand. So let's stop him from spinning and take a closer look at him. Bring him round. Straight away, the first thing that you notice when you get your hands on this figure is the sheer weight of this guy. He weighs a ton. He is very, very heavy figure indeed, and this is down to the body. Now this body, and it is very heavy indeed. This body, where to begin? But I'll tell you what, we'll start at the bottom, work our way up like we always do, rather than get ahead of ourselves. So the boots, all one piece of sculpted plastic, no split cut boot design here. What you're looking at there's not an awful lot of weathering on there. There's the paint applications are nice. You've got the laces sculpted in there. Try and get this into shot. This is the weight of this. My arm is dropping through the sheer weight. There's tread on the bottom of the boots as well, and it looks like there's some weathering on there as well. That's nice to see. They're pegged straight into the legs themselves, moving up. Now these legs feel slightly different to the body. Now I suspect what you've got here is this sort of rubberized torso, which is going into solid plastic legs. But yeah, the knee joints themselves, and we'll come to those. I think there's a double bend in that knee joint. Yeah, the articulation is very, very good at the top of the legs as well. So yeah, good articulation. These canvas sort of combat stroke cargo pants are screen accurate in colour. The stitch work is very nice. You've got pockets on the sides here. I don't believe, functioning pockets, great stitch work. There's weathering on these pants. Whether the camera's catching that, I'm not 100% certain. I'm going to hold it this way simply because my arm's about to collapse. But yeah, stitch work is great. We'll flip him round and take a look at the back here. Yeah, once again, great stitch work. Pockets are functional. Just really, really nicely done. Now, I think a lot of the weight of this figure is coming from what I suspect is a metal endoskeleton for this one. I think the nature of the body here, and we're looking at the same sort of. Actually, it doesn't feel quite the same as perhaps your TB League stroke Fison bodies here. This actually feels tougher. This feels like a tougher silicon stroke rubber. But we'll come to the upper body once we've got past these trousers. Now the belts here, great to see. These are all sculpted plastic rather than pleather. I have nightmares about pleather, and the fact that Hot Toys have gone for the gone down the sculpted plastic route, I think is a great idea. Absolutely spot on. So yeah, double sculpted belts here with all these pouches on. This one, the holster here is fully functional. You can put either of the two guns in. It's got this horseshoe on it. The paint applications are really nice to give it that leather look. There's silver applications on the buckles. None of these pouches actually function simply because they're all solid plastic, but that's fine by me. But yeah, sculpted in stitch work, really nice paint applications, even down to this crucifix that's hanging from the belt itself, which is once again all one piece of sculpted plastic and painted silver. Around the back here, the belts meet, and there's this sort of clasp section, and you've got all the bullets sculpted into the belt on this side, none on this side. It's sort of an asymmetrical design, but just really, really nicely done, and so glad they didn't go down the pleather route. While we're on the back of this figure, the tail, let's take a look at this. Now, this is really nicely done. Same level of paint applications as we've seen on the body and as we've seen on the hands. But what you've also got here is a continuation, and we'll look at this, of these sort of striations to give almost like a hairy look that runs down it. It's wired and articulated. You've got left and right movement in there, and obviously a wire as well. So you can have hours of endless posing fun with this tail. You can have it off to one side. You can have it straight down. Really, yeah, just really, really simple, but well executed idea there from Hot Toys. So yeah, that's the tail. Let's get on to this upper body. Paint applications, phenomenal. Screen accurate, absolutely screen accurate. Matching the head, matching the hands. There's no deviation in those paint applications. That's that lovely deep red. The sculpting in this silicon stroke rubber body is really good. The proportions are absolutely spot on. Mr. Harbour was a muscular guy, but not overly muscular in the film, just big, just really, really big. But you've got vein work in there, and you've got this fantastic sculpting into the silicon itself, into the rubber itself, to create this sort of hair-like effect that runs down through into the navel. You can see the muscle tone underneath, the vein work again. The body is perhaps not I'm going to hark back to TB League Bison bodies. Perhaps not the best articulation in the world, and obviously I'm going to mention at this point what I always mention when we're looking at seamless bodies. I would not keep this in any particular dynamic pose for any length of time. You don't want to risk ripping or tearing or stretching it. But the arms are ratcheted, which I actually prefer. I think it's Bison bodies where they're not ratcheted, but I prefer these ratchet joints simply because a lot of these seamless bodies, sometimes the silicon stroke rubber, I keep saying silicon stroke rubber, I'm just going to say silicon, has a tendency to slide around on the endoskeleton itself. But here it won't, simply because of the nature of this joint. But yeah, that hair effect is continued down the arms. Obviously, as I mentioned, this ball joint here can be covered by either of the two bracelets that we looked at earlier. But yeah, overall, phenomenal. That back as well, if the light will catch this, with that sort of hair-like meeting in the middle of the spine there that comes right down and then continues down the tail. Really well sculpted, really well painted, absolutely spot on. And don't need to mention the head sculpt because we've already covered it. Well, let's get him back on the stand and go in for final thoughts, because I am quite conscious of how long this guy has taken to review. Let's get him back up there. So let's get him spinning again. Final thoughts on the big guy himself. Well, where to begin on this one? From the top, I wish Hot Toys could make all their figures with what feels like the same love and attention to detail that's gone into this one. It genuinely feels like they sat down and decided to get passionate, really passionate, from the presentation of the box to the accessories, to the level of detail, to the paint applications, the body, the head sculpt, the proportions. Everything is absolutely nailed on. It really, really is. And I'm not going to call this an obscure figure, but it's perhaps not quite as mainstream as, say, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, that kind of thing. But it really feels like Hot Toys have gone that extra mile with this figure. I can't find anything wrong with it. Not one thing. Well, there is one thing, and this may very well have come out of age more than anything else. In actual fact, I'm going to stop him from spinning so you can see this. And I think this is probably, as I say, simply down to age, because I've had this figure since it was first released. I'll just get him off the stand again. Now, I think the sheer bulk and weight of everything that's going on up here on the top part of the body over time has put pressure on these knee joints, and they've become a little bit loose, and the hip joints have become ever so slightly loose as well. Not enough to make him fall over, and not enough to cause any concern, but you can feel that they've actually lost some of that tension. And I think that, and I've not had him in any particularly dynamic poses, but I think that is simply because of the sheer weight pressing down on these hip joints and on these knee joints over time has weakened them a little bit. That is the only thing that I can find to criticise about this figure. So there you have it. That is Hellboy from the Hellboy movie. What's your take on this? I will be absolutely fascinated to find out. Do you have this figure in your collection? Is Hellboy something on your radar? What do you think of the new movie, the new trailer for the new movie? Is that something you're going to be getting involved in? I'd be really, really interested to hear your take on this figure. So yeah, there you have it. That's Hellboy. Hope this review's been useful. Going to give this thing a score. Can't help this. It's 10 out of 10. It is. Okay, I might take half a point off for those joints, but I think that's me nitpicking. That's me looking for something to actually score this figure down, and I can't. There's nothing there. Everything is absolutely nailed on. And as I said before, I just wish that Hot Toys did all their figures with this, with the passion that they've shown here. So yeah, as I said before, I hope this review's been useful for you. Give me your thoughts, your feelings in the comment section below. I suppose all it remains for me to say, oh, actually, no, let's almost miss what's coming up. So yeah, what's coming up on the channel? Well, in the not too distant future, and regulars to the channel will probably be sick of hearing me bang on about this. But yeah, what have we got coming up? We've got the In-Art Batman. He's on his way. Literally, he is in transit as we speak. We've got the Redmond Toys Dracula Blue, also in transit. All Toys, Duke Leto and Gurney Halleck from June, also in transit. VTS Cloud Toys, Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII, also in transit. As is Blitzway Astro Boy. Also, we're still waiting on the release of the Caustic Plastic Horror of Dracula Deluxe Edition. A raft of present toys. I am not going to go on because this review's run on way longer than it normally would. But suffice it to say, there's an awful lot on the horizon. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all it remains for me to say is, from myself, from Hellboy, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and until next time, it's over to the showcase.